We have a tight agenda and the folks who really love to talk about asteroids. Hopefully, we should be done in 45 minutes. If any of you need to drop off, we will share the recording afterwards. Our first speaker is Marcus Payer. He was previously with SES, one of Asteroid Day's major sponsors, and now runs the C-Band Alliance and his own communication firm in Luxembourg. He's the newest and most enthusiastic member of the Asteroid Foundation board. Over to you, Marcus.
Thank you. Thank you, Danica. Welcome all around the world to our Asteroid Day press conference, and thanks for joining. My name is Marcus Payer. As Danica said, I'm member of the board of directors of the Asteroid Foundation. I'm very proud to be there. Luxembourg is also proud to welcome you here to this virtual press briefing today and to host the Asteroid Day global event again this year. Asteroid Day is the official United Nations Day of Global Awareness and Education about Asteroids. We will celebrate its 6th year on 30th of June 2020 this year. Asteroid Day was co-founded by astrophysicist and famed musician Brian May of the rock group Queen, Apollo 9 astronaut Rusty Schweickart, filmmaker Greg Richters, and B612 President Danica Remy, whom you just heard a minute ago, and whom I warmly welcome here, as well as other board members of the Asteroid Foundation. Space fascinates as much as it inspires and sometimes frightens people. The purpose of the Asteroid Day is to promote awareness and provide knowledge about asteroids and the role they play in the history and genesis of our solar system, to understand what brought life to our planet and how asteroids could impact life on Earth again. It is to encourage experts and the public to work to defend and develop our planet, to look at space as our environment, which we have to protect as much as smartly leverage its resources, preparing for our future. Luxembourg has played a key role in exploring space resources and changing the thinking and the approach to space as an important source of our future economic wealth and societal development. With the Luxembourg Space Agency, LSA, one of the main sponsors of the Asteroid Day, and its ambitious Space Resources Initiative, Luxembourg has set benchmarks for raising awareness, attracting talent, engaging with scientists and entrepreneurs to leverage our access to space, and to help unleash its enormous potential for our economies, our communities, and our society. Asteroid Day is about a vision, and it's about reality, moving from myth to knowledge. Hundreds of millions of people around the world connect and engage around and during Asteroid Day with local activities in hubs around the world. Hundreds of people, specialists, scientists, politicians, celebrities, and amateurs are working every day throughout the year for asteroid-related science and technology programs. We want to encourage all of them, and our speakers today will tell you more about how we do this. Let me welcome them to Asteroid Day from its global headquarters here in Luxembourg and hand over to Danica again.
Thank you, Marcus. To launch Asteroid Day, several of our speakers here today helped craft what's called the 100X Declaration, which is a global call to action to encourage the world to accelerate the rate of discovery by 100X. One of our biggest challenges today is asteroid discovery, and as our speakers will share, globally we're making good progress on asteroid deflection and understanding these amazing celestial bodies. A bit of background: when we created Asteroid Day, we recognized that we needed the global effort to be self-organizing because we are a very small team. So we modeled it after Earth Day. So no one is really in charge of Asteroid Day in each and every country, city, organization, and individual. They can make Asteroid Day what they want it to be. As Asteroid Day Global, we provide online tools and programming, but are not involved in the worldwide events other than those in Luxembourg. Our independently organized events are really the heart and soul of Asteroid Day. Let me share a few examples. The Vienna's Natural History Museum has been an active event organizer from the very first year of our formation. Their program this year will celebrate 40 years of the discovery and evidence of the dinosaur-killing asteroid impact in Chelyabinsk In India, with the support of the government's education department, they organize schools and clubs with an estimated 3,000 students in just one region. These students take part in day-long workshops in 200 plus locations. The students participate in quizzes, model making, lectures, astronomy activities, art competition, and much, much more. And once again, Chile, the country of Chile, hosts the 5th annual Asteroid Day nationwide writing contest, challenging all college students in Chile to write about asteroids. The essay length is equal to the number of years each since Tunguska, which this year is 112. These examples are just a few which leaders in their own countries have organized on behalf of asteroid education and awareness. Now, here at Asteroid Day Global, our programs include Asteroid Day TV. It's in its second year. It's a month-long, 24-hour-a-day channel dedicated to asteroid science, missions, and new space technology for a non-technical audience. It runs the entire month of June on our website, asteroidday.org, and over satellites thanks to major support from SES and the Broadcast Center of Europe, a division of RTL. The other global program is Asteroid Day Live, and it's really the core of our program, which the general public can watch, but also many of our independently organized events stream Asteroid Day Live during their programs. We traditionally have about 30 speakers and leaders from space agencies, space missions, planetary scientists, astronauts, and cosmonauts, and many other exciting speakers. In May, we'll announce the Asteroid Day TV schedule with new and old partners like Discovery Science, IMAX, California Academy of Science, and many more, as well as our Asteroid Day Live hosts and speakers. While we have these amazing speakers in Luxembourg, we host several local events, including a tech briefing, a gala, and an astronaut meet and greet for the public. Now let's turn the mic over to Tom, who, without his help, and the help of the Association of Space Explorers, Asteroid Day would not have been able to achieve as much as we have in the past 6 years, including being recognized by the UN. Over to you, Tom.
Thank you, Danica, and thank you everybody for joining the press conference here on Asteroid Day. Very exciting event every year for the Association of Space Explorers. And the Association of Space Explorers, of course, is the organization of professional astronauts around the world, people who've flown once around the world in a spacecraft. And our mission is to apply the unique perspective of our astronaut and cosmonaut members to promote the global benefits of space science, exploration, and international cooperation, to educate and inspire future generations, and to foster better stewardship of our home planet. And, you know, most of the astronaut members of our team at the association flown in space, and their spacecraft have been struck by tiny pieces of debris, some of them from asteroids. And of course, we look down from our spacecraft and we see the evidence of Earth's sustained bombardment by cosmic objects like near-Earth asteroids and comets over the billions of years of Earth's history. And so we have a very visceral understanding of the hazard that asteroids might present to our civilization, and certainly will in the future. So we, as part of our environmental stewardship mission, decided to study and support efforts to prevent a hazardous asteroid impact. We formed a committee, the Near Earth Objects Committee of the Association of Space Explorers, in 2005 to contribute to the worldwide discussions on how to prevent a future hazardous impact. We went to the United Nations in Vienna, the Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space, and their Science and Technical Subcommittee to participate in those discussions as observers. And because we have members all over the world, astronauts and cosmonauts could support their national delegations in these discussions and inform the work of the study groups at the United Nations dating back to around 2000, and support the future work that the UN inspires and encourages among the global space agencies and the member states of the UN. So over the course of about 15 years now, we've contributed to those discussions. We generated an expert panel report called Asteroid Threats that we turned over to the United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space in 2009. And among the suggestions that our Association of Space Explorers report put forward was the creation of some UN-sanctioned supported bodies that will study and tackle the asteroid impact hazard. One of those problems was to detect asteroids early And another group was to study missions that might be able to deflect asteroids in the future using aerospace technology. And those groups, the International Asteroid Warning Network and the Space Missions Planning Advisory Group, have been stood up and are now actively supported by the UN and participated in by the global space agency community. We put forward a resolution at the UN also to create Asteroid Day 6 years ago. We're very proud of initiating that Asteroid Day inception. And we sponsor every year, every couple of years, the Asteroid Planetary Defense Conference at the United Nations, and sponsored by the United Nations. Lastly, I'd like to say we're excited about the coming Asteroid Day in June of this year. I'll be participating at the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. The Association of Space Explorers will be participating along with Smithsonian scientists, NASA experts, and engineers, creating the first mission to practice deflecting an asteroid and to then follow up and study the results of that kinetic impact on an asteroid. And we hope at the Association of Space Explorers through this Asteroid Day and the following ones to expand education about asteroids, to expand excitement, and expand public support of our efforts to prevent global catastrophe from an asteroid or comet. Thank you. Let me introduce Mark Schlepper now, who's the head of the Hera mission at OHB, an aerospace company that's actively involved in studying asteroid impacts and rehearsing how we can deflect a rogue asteroid in the future. Over to you, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Thanks for this nice introduction. You already covered some of the things which I wanted to mention. So I'm Mark Schlepper from OHB System, one of Europe's 3 large system integrators, and I'm happy and also a bit proud that we are the pre-selected industrial partner to implement this Hera mission, to which I will come back in a few seconds again. But how did it come to that for me? So I'm working here at OHB since more than 20 years, starting with some design work for the International Space Station. And this is already in space, but it's comparable close to Earth. So the main concern there was, okay, what is about debris being in an Earth orbit and also small micro meteorites, so something in the order of a few millimeter size, but not thinking about asteroids and stuff like that. But after this, I started also working on some studies related to the SSA program. SSA stands for Space Situational Awareness, which covers debris, meteorites, asteroids, everything which might come closer to Earth and might cause a harm to Earth, wherever, in space, on ground, whatever. And in 2014, ESA decided to start working on the European part of this AIDA mission, so this combined NASA-ESA effort to think about asteroid deflection and to demonstrate that asteroid deflection can be done. Luckily, we were selected to start working on this, and as I just said, now we are pre-selected to really do the implementation for this European part of this AIDA mission, which is called Hera. I was involved in leading the predecessor of Hera. In the beginning, it was called AIM, standing for Asteroid Impact Monitoring Mission, the European part of this AIDA collaboration with NASA. Now it's called Hera. It's got a new name, mainly due to the fact that the mission scope has changed a bit because we will arrive at the asteroid a bit later than the DART spacecraft, the NASA spacecraft, so we will not be able to observe the impact directly, but we will be able to investigate the result of this impact, investigate the crater, to determine the orbital parameters of this asteroid, etc. So this is something where we're really happy about to implement this mission within the next year. The launch is foreseen in 2024, the latest, with an arrival at the asteroid 2 years later. And yes, so a few things ran in parallel. So also in 2014, 2015, this Asteroid Day was established. I got also informed about this. We created, or others created, I was just participating a bit, but others created really an impressive community following this topic of asteroids to better understand their origin, their constitution, but also to think about what can we do here on Earth if an asteroid comes close to Earth or is on the path towards Earth. And I think it's really an impressive effort which was achieved there, that this global community organizes events every year all over the globe, creating this awareness not only within the interested scientific or space business guys, but also to the broader public, which was also a bit triggered, I think, by this asteroid impact in Chelyabinsk in in 2013, which got some awareness because it was published in all classical media, but also in a lot of social media. And I think it's a good point to take this momentum also to convince people, yes, we need this capability to deflect or to protect the Earth from an asteroid there. And AIDA is just demonstrating right now, or will be demonstrating in a few years, if this is possible and what needs to be achieved to be able to do this. And this would be, for me, the point to hand over to Patrick Michel from the Observatorium of the Côte d'Azur in southern France, who for me is the, let's say, scientific brain behind the AIDA mission or the HERA mission and all of the things which are done there. And he's also been part in the past, or is currently in all missions which are concerning asteroids like OSIRIS-REx or Hayabusa. So I would hand over to Patrick.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you hear me. So thank you, Mark. Yes, I must say I'm extremely excited about Asteroid Day because it comes at the moment where it is actually the golden age of asteroids. In fact, we have the great luck to have two missions currently in space devoted to asteroids, and then we'll have a series of missions coming in the future. So the two missions are, of course, Hayabusa 2 from JAXA and OSIRIS-REx from NASA, and they're going to take samples and return them to Earth. And actually, this year was particularly exciting for Hayabusa 2 because Hayabusa 2 accomplished everything with high success, noting that close proximity operations to an asteroid are extremely challenging due to their very low gravity, and also because when we go there, we don't really know what we're going to find. We are basically like explorers which discover new territories in gravitational conditions, attraction conditions that are extremely different than those on Earth. So that's why we had a lot of surprise, and that's why when we succeed to do what to accomplish our objectives, it's more like a miracle. And in fact, Hayabusa 2 deployed successfully a lander, French-German lander called Mascot, then mini rovers or hoppers, depending on how you want to see that, and then successfully performed two samplings of the asteroid Ryugu, which is really, really fascinating. And now it's on the way back to Earth and will arrive with the samples in December 2020. So this is really, really fun. And the second one is, of course, OSIRIS-REx from NASA. So OSIRIS-REx arrived a little later, a few months later than Hayabusa 2 in December 2018, and again allowed us to discover a new world. Ryugu was 900 meters in size. Bennu, which is the target of OSIRIS-REx, is only 450 meters in size, so even smaller. And we have selected sampling sites for OSIRIS-REx. They are flybys at very close distance to the sampling site to really characterize what they are. And OSIRIS-REx sent back very, very fabulous images that you can see on the public website. And the sampling will take place in summer. So after Asteroid Day in June 30, there will still be a lot of suspense, like all these missions, which are like Adventures of Indiana Jones, because a new, very challenging task will be accomplished by OSIRIS-REx. Nothing is never easy in space in summer to get the samples that will be returned to Earth. And these missions address first science, of course, because we want to understand how the solar system was formed, how the planets were formed, and also how life emerged on Earth. And by choosing two asteroids which are carbonaceous rich, we hope to be able to provide some part of the answers about how these planets and life emerge on Earth. The next steps will be, of course, the first test of a kinetic impact in order to deflect an asteroid. I should say also that Hayabusa 2 performed successfully also an impact experiment and made a crater, which was actually much bigger than the one predicted by the calculations, showing us that our understanding of cratering physics in very low gravity is still not really high. And that's why DART will impact in 2022, perform a deflection, hopefully, and then we'll be able with ERA, which will come later, as Mark said, to measure in great detail the crater morphology and the deflection of this little moon of the Didymos system around the primary. So this will be really the first time that humankind is performing a text, and when we want to prevent an asteroid impact, we need to be able to predict and then to mitigate, and this will allow us to test a mitigation strategy. I should also mention that these activities on HERA and DART are also supported by some European program funded by the A2020 program of the European Commission. I'm coordinating this 2020 program called ENIO-MAP, which will basically support the activities necessary to develop the HERA mission. And there is another H2020 program, which is called ENIO-ROCKS, which will focus on discovering and characterizing near-Earth asteroids. So, and later, there will be also two other asteroid missions. The one is a Psyche mission, which will visit the metallic asteroid Psyche, very fascinating. And the other one is a Lucy mission, which will go to visit some Trojan asteroids, which are the ones that share the same orbit as Jupiter. And this is, again, extremely fascinating because for sure, we know that in our meteorite collection, we have nothing coming from the Trojan population. So we basically need to be there on site to really study them. So as you see, we have a series of missions that will lead up to 2030 or even later, depending on the next elections. So Asteroid Day are still long days to live and a very exciting moment. Thank you very much. And I passed my, Ed Lu is going to speak, and Ed Lu is, of course, an astronaut. He flew 3 times in space, and that's very, very impressive. And, of course, he has been caring about asteroids for a long time already.
Thank you very much, Michel. And thank you to everyone attending today. My name is Ed Lu, and as Patrick said, I've been interested and fascinated with asteroids for a very long time. And what has me very excited is the fact that our understanding, our knowledge of asteroids, and in particular, our knowledge of where asteroids are and the possibilities of them hitting the Earth are about to change very, very fast. They're about to change in a big way. And the reason for that is we have a number of missions which are and telescopes which are coming online, which are going to discover about a factor of 10 more asteroids than we currently track in the inner solar system. The first of these big telescopes coming online is the Legacy Survey of Space and Time, or the LSST telescope. That's coming online in about 2 years. It is under construction, in the final stages of construction in Chile, and it will be the most powerful to date telescope for finding and tracking asteroids. The next interesting thing to happen, actually, it's actually happening before LSST turning on, is the first mission to, on purpose, test the deflection technology on asteroids, so that if we find an asteroid in the future, or when we find an asteroid in the future, we will have some experience with deflecting an asteroid. It's the DART-HERA mission, which launches in July of next year. And it will make a, what it will do is actually impact the small asteroid, and we will measure the deflection, the change in the orbit of that small asteroid, which is actually part of a binary asteroid system, and using the HERA mission and from ground observations. Last, in about 5 years' time, the NEO-SM mission, which is an infrared space telescope to track asteroids, will also be launched. And that will further, in conjunction with the LSST, allow us to track, as I said before, about 10 times more asteroids than we are currently able to today. And I think that's exciting, because the name of the game for protecting the Earth from asteroid impacts is, one, you have to find and track them, know if one is going to hit well in advance, and then number two, you need to deflect anything that's going to hit the Earth. And so these are all the elements here. Together, LSST and NEO-SM will find about 20% of the asteroids that are large enough to destroy a city. And that's a huge increase from today's 1%. So I think that's big progress.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you to each of our speakers. As a reminder, the programming of Asteroid Day would not be possible without the overwhelming global support we received over the last 6 years from the independent event organizers, and in the last 4 years from the country of Luxembourg. We're especially grateful to our financial supporters, including the Luxembourg Space Agency, SES Satellites, OHB, European Composites, Broadcast Center Europe, the Luxembourg Chamber of Commerce, and B612 Foundation.